With many indie developers trying their hand at recapturing that nostalgic feel of the early Resident Evil games, and with the relatively recent interest in demakes and low-poly horror, there's been no shortage of Resident Evil clones to hit the market over the last decade. Games like Them and Us, Nightmare of Decay, and Tormented Souls have seen great successes in their releases. These are all great games that do well to stand out amongst a sea of Resident Evil clones, but I feel like one hidden gem has been severely overlooked. Enigma Manor by Necroactive puts players in a sprawling mansion that's very reminiscent of Resident Evil 1. The goal is simple: escape. It's never that easy though, is it? There is no story in Enigma Manor, at least not that I've been able to work out. Frankly, I don't think it needs one. Players are dropped into a procedurally generated mansion where they're forced to do puzzles and fight enemies to earn their freedom. I'd liken it to a labyrinth, especially if you play on a bigger map, but there's a little more to it than that. You'll be backtracking quite a bit, as one puzzle piece or key you find often leads back to an area that was previously inaccessible, not by design, but by RNG. The puzzles vary greatly in difficulty, from brain-dead memory puzzles to how the hell does Morse code work? What do these boxes even mean? With the classic Resident Evil inventory management of limited inventory space and an item box, you'll have to decide what to bring and what to leave in storage. This can cause for stressful moments, as you can't bring every gun you find with its ammo, you can't carry all the puzzle pieces, and good luck remembering where any of the boxes are when you're trying to navigate this maze of a mansion, especially on the larger map sizes. The enemies are very obvious asset flips, so let's get that out of the way right now. You have every haunted house special: the zombies, the mummies, you got zombie dogs, skeletons. The AI is pretty bad, but to be fair, you're not fighting spec op soldiers or aliens or anything crazy like that. It makes sense that these mindless undead will just barrel down on you while trying to navigate the furniture of a room. It's possible to outrun them, and with the traditional survival element of ammo being a very finite resource, oftentimes this is the only plan of action. Modern pop horror titles have brought us many unkillable stalker enemies, and this game is no exception. I'm uncertain at which point in the game, whether it's time related, a percentage of the puzzles are completed, or just a randomly generated trigger, does Enigma Manor's stalker spawn. This thing is terrifying.
Ow!
No!
Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm down.
What?
I gotta Jesus stick.
Moving 2 to 3 times faster than any other enemy in the game, the Ghost Lady stalks the halls in a seemingly random pattern, making it very hard to anticipate where she'll be and when. It only takes 2 to 3 hits from her on casual mode before you're killed, so likely less hits on higher difficulties. In the fashion of games like Granny, you have 2 options to deal with her. You can either sneak around and hide, or you can temporarily immobilize her with a flare gun. On the casual difficulty, this immobilization lasts for a minute before she respawns in her room marked with a skull on the door. Flares are limited like all of the ammo, and the flare gun itself always spawns in her room, which can sometimes make it tricky to obtain. If you haven't already cleared the mansion of enemies and found all the puzzle pieces necessary to escape before she spawns, it can turn an already tough run, well, at the time of recording this video, Enigma Manor sits at 23 reviews on Steam, 6 of which are negative. The game is still being developed by its singular developer at Necroactive, and because it's a one-man team, updates come relatively slowly. The game was released in July of 2023, with most of the updates so far being balancing and procedural generation tweaks, along with the rare addition of new enemy types and new items. The game is still in early access and will likely be for some time. I feel as though most modern co-op horror games fall under either linear story games or Phasmophobia-like games, with the occasional open-world horror survival game surfacing. I find Enigma Manor refreshing because it is none of those. It is simple, arcadey, multiplayer fun with great replay value. I've personally only played on casual difficulty so far. The game's pretty tough, and even then I've failed more runs than I've completed. The staple survival horror resource management coupled with the labyrinthian mansion and late game stalker make for some very fun, incredibly intense moments. The reason I'm making this video is because I feel as though this game deserves way more attention than it's received so far. When I first started playing, I tried to look up facts and videos to get a better understanding of puzzles and game flow, and I couldn't find anything on the game. No articles, no videos, nothing. I took a gamble based on the Steam page, and at the time, 3 user reviews, and honestly, I'm glad that I did. I did catch the game on sale, and while I believe $15 may be a little steep right now for some people, this game goes on sale very often at around $5 to $7, which I find is the perfect price point. I'd even say $10 is fair for the game in its current stage with the likelihood of more updates to come. So please, if you and your friends are fans of Resident Evil or survival horror games in general, check this game out. Look past the mid graphics and the flipped assets because there is a genuinely fun game buried under it all. Help Necroactive gain a bit of traction on their labor of love here. I promise you won't be disappointed.